All right, welcome back to the Run.down post-game show over here on the Strickland YouTube channel as well as the Strickland Podcast Network. Knicks lose to the Bucks with a score of where is it? I just had it to 119 to 108. Um I feel like these Bucks Knicks games lately, they all follow like the same script in terms of, go down, bench brings us back. Dibs slowly brings back in the starters that were ineffective, and we lose. Um, and I as soon as I saw this like playing out, I already knew like we weren't gonna win this game. Like no matter like how convincing the comeback felt, I just knew that we weren't gonna win this one. But yeah, Knicks lose. I think it pretty much the Bucks kind of set the tone with how they were defending Brunson, making sure that he was ineffective tonight. Um, him, Randall, and RJ up until that third quarter was pretty much. I mean, RJ picked it up in that third quarter, but other than that, outside of that, him and Randall and Brunson were like really bad tonight. Like, and we're hoping this isn't something that teams pick up on and are able to exploit further in the future. And I know we talked about in the last live stream about how things that went wrong against Charlotte could look way worse against a better team. And tonight was like the perfect example of that in terms of guys like Drew Holiday and Grayson Allen being able to get their games off in terms of taking advantage of the Knicks in certain spots. And we'll talk about that further. So I guess like where do we want to start with tonight's game? Because there's a lot to discuss, I feel.
Honestly, the point you talk about everybody in the game stuff, like I don't think anybody really had a good game aside from like Grayson Allen. You see, like Drew Holiday shot 6 of 19,
But it's
Bobby Porter
defense.
shot right. Like the defense was good. The offense couldn't do anything, which was the problem. Like Giannis had 30, but it was like a pretty mundane 30 for Giannis, which is like a weird thing to say. But like he nearly had a triple double, but I didn't feel like Giannis killed us to the point where like this game was unwinnable. I just kind of felt like this team's offense stuttered because the Bucks defense is really good and they match up really well against this team. So like it felt like this is something that slipped away from the Knicks more than the Knicks like being outclassed. Aside from that third quarter stretch, I want to say.
Yeah, that third quarter. I mean, that was an 18-0 run in under 3 minutes. That was ridiculous. I can't believe that Tibbs called a timeout and came out of the timeout with Fournier still on the floor. That was like, and then he just pulled him a minute later. Like he was like, "Oh yeah, like That's I didn't understand that. I agree with Tyrese. I actually thought we defended really well aside from that mini stretch. I thought we played Giannis fine. I mean, he was 11 for 22. Like, how much better are you going to do against Giannis than shooting 50% from the floor? Um, he didn't have, like 15 assists or something crazy. I don't think. Oh, yeah. All right. He had 9. But, I mean, um, yeah, I mean, the Bucks defense was basically we're going to have Javon Carter and uh, Drew Holiday just work as hard as they can around these Mitchell Robinson screens. We're going to have Brook Lopez play drop, and we're going to say, don't let Jalen Brunson or RJ Barrett shoot a pull up three. And eventually the ball will get to Evan Fournier, and we'll see what he can do on Grayson Allen. That was their defense. And this game was the most initiating Evan Fournier has done in his Knicks career. I would feel very, very confident saying that. He did more initiating tonight than he's done in his entire Knicks career. And we saw how it went. Like, he's not a primary initiator against opposing starting lineups. Um, that's okay. It's really hard to be that. But then he compounds it with really, really bad defense. Now, he wasn't the only one. RJ was, I mean, we're going to have to talk about him eventually. He can't just keep doing this. Like Sam, I saw you had a tweet that was just like, I don't know what to say. Like, I know he picked it up in the third quarter, but even in that third quarter, he was I don't know if it was because he was spent, but he wasn't even trying to get over screens. They got a couple. They missed a couple of bunnies late in the third and early in the fourth that were the direct result of RJ just sort of mailing in defensive possessions. And yeah, I'm rambling here and kind of all over the place, but the main thrust of the point is I do think the Knicks as a team defended Giannis pretty well, and I think our offense was the reason we lost this game. Our starters' offense, that is.
Yeah, because once the bench came in, we saw like that's when the comeback happened because IQ and Obi. I mean, IQ and Obi. I mean, what more can we say about their play since going back to the end of last season? I mean, there's not much more praise we can give them than they've already like shown to deserve at this point. Like, it is what it is. We know what we're getting with them. It's good to get this consistency from them. It's just a matter of the coach being able to realize this and step out of his comfort zone, give them more run. He gave them more run today because he had no choice. But like sometimes like I don't want it to come to this point all the time where it's like it's no choice. It should be something that can happen within the flow of any type of game that's going on. But yeah, I mean, I guess we can start to get to some comments early today because we got quite a few that are rolling in that can probably lead to more discussion. This one is for you, Tyrese. Can Tyrese please address Randall at some point in the stream?
He fucking sucked tonight there.
Yeah.
I'll say this though. If you don't mind me jumping in, Tyrese, because you're more, in my opinion, you so far have been more vindicated than people who have been hating on Randall. So I don't think you should have to defend him. I think that like a game like tonight, his process wasn't great. He took more of those shots that we hate. He had that one possession that he dribbled the ball across the court, just stood there and dribbled and then tried to take Giannis and got his shit swatted. That was terrible. But I thought Randall worked really hard on the offensive glass, and I actually don't think he was close to near our worst defender tonight. In fact, I would say, aside from Quickly and Mitch, he was probably our third best defender on the team tonight. I thought when he got put on Giannis, he mostly did a good job. And we say this all the time, his energy doesn't always lead to the right things, but you want to see that energy. You want to see it as much as possible. And in my opinion, we saw it more than we didn't see it tonight. Wasn't a great Randall game, obviously, that you look at the stat line. But he's one of my lesser concerns coming away from this game. And so, yeah, sorry to cut you off, Tyrese, but I don't think Randall should be a focal point from this game. In my opinion.
I agree. Like he didn't have it stat line wise, but I do feel like he played the way he needed to play. You saw I think he's in the backstage area, but
hey, Schwinn.
No, I want Tyrese to continue.
Fucking hell! All right, yeah, but like I don't think he had it tonight. Stat line wise, I did like the energy that he played with, and I would say that's the good thing, at least, that he's at least been playing with energy. Oh, here we fucking go, dude. All right, but yeah, like, he played with energy, but he didn't have it tonight. I like the fact he didn't hijack the offense. Like he only took 10 shots tonight, and I think 3 of those came in like garbage time, basically. So like, he knew he didn't have it tonight. He gave more energy, or at least tried to. Yeah, I don't know, man. Nobody aside from like the bench, the starters just didn't play well tonight. I need Jalen Brunson to fucking grow up here and stop doing all this off bullshit and just like literally be the fucking point guard. I kind of pissed me off tonight where I'm just like, why the hell are you not just like, why are you just so?
He let Julius Randle get too many initiation reps, I think, tonight.
And that's the whole point. It's like we brought you in here to not let that happen as much, and I kind of felt like he was trying to play off somebody in order to get himself going, and it's like you're supposed to be the guy who gets yourself going.
Yeah.
I like the fact he had 9 free throws, which means that he was able to penetrate and get where he needed to get. But at the same time, like 10 shots is not acceptable. Like you need to at least take, I want to say 15. Like you should not be taking less shots than Emmanuel quickly.
Fair. Schwinn, do you have anything to add to the Julius Randle discussion?
What game were you guys watching? Honestly, what game were you guys watching? You thought
Uh,
Julius played with good energy? Like, I'm honestly like dumbfounded by that comment. Like, I thought he was awful
he's just
tonight.
dumb in general, dude.
He was terrible. I mean, you're the one that spent like 20 minutes talking about how Julius gave energy. I don't know what the hell you were watching. I thought he was terrible tonight. I agree with you. Brunson deferred to him too much. I don't know why Fournier dribbled the ball as much as he did. That was terrible. He shouldn't have even played in the second half. He definitely shouldn't have played the first 9 minutes of the second half. That was awful.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought this was a complete reversion game for both Julius and Tibbs. Randall, the first quarter of the game was, I don't know what was going through his head. He was awful. Like every single shot he took. Okay, you take your first open three. That's fine. I'm fine with that. Okay, you take your second one. Fine. You don't keep chucking him up there. That was insane. It was awful to watch. He was terrible. And I'm going to push back on this whole like, oh, RJ was terrible thing. Yeah, RJ wasn't good today. He missed a bunch of shots in the first half. He's got to make more shots. We all know that. This wasn't the same type of I killed RJ on the pod on this last pod after the last game. I'm not like excusing all of this. This was not the same thing. He didn't get the ball much in the first half. Go watch the halfback. He barely touched the ball. And anytime he touched the ball, it was just like a catch and shoot opportunity. He barely touched the ball. He was not involved offensively. Brunson, Fournier, and Randall pretty much were on ball the entire time when he was on the floor anyway. And okay, so he was terrible in the first half. I agree with that. Second half, magically, all of a sudden, Randall goes off the floor, Brunson's off the floor, Fournier's off the floor. All of a sudden, we are running sets to get RJ going downhill. Magically, he starts making shots. It's amazing. There's more space. There's more movement. Things are happening. Not just him. The entire team plays better. The defense is better. There's more energy. Like, Randall did not bring the energy. He didn't. Like, he did not have a good game. The bar for this guy right now, like, forget evaluating Randall. Because anything I say about Randall is just be like, oh, you hate him. In what planet do you watch this game tonight as the head coach of the Knicks? And you're like, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play Julius 31 minutes. And by the way, I'm going to bring him back with 6 minutes left in the fucking game. What are you watching? What are you watching?
That one made no sense.
This is just proof. It does not matter what Obi Toppin does. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Never.
At all what he does.
Never.
It doesn't matter. He went 3 of 5 from 3. He's shooting 53% from 3 for the season. So he's got to make threes. Okay, he's making threes. Now what? What does he have to do? Fucking juggle.
Now they're saying he has to rebound better.
Or something?
Now they're saying he has to rebound better. That's what they're saying now. That's what the pundits are saying. He has to rebound.
The rebounding was not on Obi. I mean, Obi's not a great defensive rebounder, but Hartenstein got absolutely brutalized. That was one of the worst. That was one of the worst performances I've ever seen. Like, the Bucks got 19 offensive rebounds, but that's not even including all the times it was just like fumbled under the rim and they got ball out of bounds underneath the basket. There's no
way Brook Lopez only had 4 offensive rebounds. I swear to God, that guy felt like he had like 15 in a row.
Bobby Portis literally has fucking stick on his hands because there was no way he should have gotten all those fucking balls tonight, dude. He was just getting them, and it made no sense how he got them at the time.
I really like. I just genuinely I want you guys to watch this game back tomorrow. And Jeff, I know you will anyway because you do. And honestly, tell me Julius played with the right energy from the start of this game. That is a crock of shit. He was garbage from the start of this game. He was garbage. Fournier was trash. RJ was I thought defensively in the first half he was actually pretty okay. Second half defense, bad. Second half offense, good. So maybe one day we can put both those together and they can have a good defensive half and a good offensive half together. That'd be wonderful. I thought Mitch was good when he was on. You cannot commit some of these stupid fouls, man. You can't, okay, they're going to get a layup with 3 minutes left in the first quarter. You already have 1 foul. Give up the layup. He picked up his 4th foul at the start of the second half. You weren't going to block that fucking shot. You weren't going to block it. Let it go. It's fine. You were going to be down 6 fucking points. It is okay. No one's going to care. He's got to be you're way too important to the team because you know what?
5.
You know what? We saw exactly why. Hartenstein somehow just willed himself into not, fumbling away the game in the first half. I mean that as a credit to him. He's good enough to help you out against starters, against especially a team like this. this team starters for like 5-6 minutes, hold the fort, sure. When you have to put him back in with 10 minutes left in the third quarter, he's going against Giannis, Brook. Like, no, he's got no shot. You can't put him in that position. That's on Mitch. Mitch has to do better. Mitch has to understand his value to the team. He has to. You want to be defensive player of the year? You want to know how you become defensive player of the year? Stay on the fucking floor. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. And you do it by, okay, I can't block that shot, and if I try to block it, I'm going to pick up a foul. You have to have that understanding. I know he does. He didn't even question some of those foul calls because he knew they were fouls. So he clearly knew like he had no shot. He has to be smarter. And then I don't know what I really like. I'm trying very hard. It's 5 games into the season. The Knicks are 3-2. These minutes, I don't know what I can't understand the rotation at all tonight. Really, I just don't. Like, why is Fournier starting? He clearly doesn't think he's good enough to start.
We're all with you there, Schwinn. We're all confused. We're all confused.
Why is he starting?
We're all confused.
I mean, it's just asinine. He doesn't even value him. He clearly doesn't.
It's like the Alfred punting thing all over again. It's the Alfred punting minutes thing all over again.
And I've seen multiple people be like, so what Tibbs is going to try to do is he's going to try to like break even with the starting lineup and then win with the bench units. You don't have to do that. You can win with the starters. Like, we have a really good starting lineup if you just put Quickly in the starting lineup. Brunson, Quickly, RJ, Randall, and Mitch can play really well together, and they can all intermix with Cam, with Rose, with Obi, even with Obi. Like, oh my God. I know it's stupid to rant about it at this point because we're never going to see it. And
it's not stupid. You know it's good to vent.
I'm going to say to Schwinn about the Randall stuff, I'm just going to assume that you're right and I was wrong, but I'll get back to you when I rewatch the game. So I'm not going to, go into that or try and defend my point. I thought that Randall had good intentions, especially on the glass and defensively. I agree with you. His first quarter shots were awful. I was getting really mad and trying hard to hold my tongue. But anyways, to get to the main point where I was going with that, there's no reason if you were going to bring Randall back in that game, he should have kept Hartenstein in that game. It should have been Brunson, IQ, RJ, Obi, and Randall. And they're running 4 out plus Giannis. They're killing you on the offensive glass. Hartenstein's not helping you there. So say fuck it. Say, okay, we're getting killed on the offensive glass anyway, or the defensive glass anyways. Play your 5 best players together and just see what happens. Just try it. Like, what is the worst that can happen? We just lost by 11. Like, is it going to be that much worse? Oh, no, we lose by 16 instead. Or maybe you see that these guys have really good chemistry together. You see Randall and Brunson are actually helped by Obi spacing the floor instead of Hartenstein, who nobody gives a fuck about him standing beyond the arc. It's cool that he's willing to pull, but look, he's got to make some before people start respecting him. They're not respecting it right now.
Only Obi actually has to do that. Everybody else on the team is fine if they don't make threes. Look, I just... What is like the entire point of, okay, we're playing faster. Great. That's genuinely a meaningful change he's made. Wonderful. Aside from that, okay, he's playing Quickly ahead of Rose. Wonderful. Great. Aside from those two things, what has he done that we're like, changed man? Like, I don't know. I really don't. And
I think it's the experimentation with
the beard,
slight, not with the beard, but with slight tweaks in terms of like running certain players with different units and staggering in those ways. But it's like it's not that consistent yet to like warrant all this praise.
So I agree. He's done that for the first 4 games. Do you know why you do that for the first 4 games? Precisely for a fucking game like this.
Yes.
When you are getting your
that
shit
is why
beaten.
That is why my main point when like everyone brought up all these changes with Thibs is like, okay, let's see what happens when the pressure is really applied, when we start playing these more dominant teams such as the Bucks. We have like the Cavs coming up who just beat the Celtics in overtime with Karis LeVert and Donovan Mitchell dropping 41 apiece. We got these other teams like the Timberwolves. I mean, who else we have? The Celtics. We have all these other teams coming up that are going to apply the pressure that the Bucks just did. Let's see if Thibs is able to still do that experimentation, the staggering, if Julius is going to keep up the energy that he had in those first three games or whatever it was. Like, let's see if this all continues, because when everyone was running those victory laps those first couple games, I was like, let's just hold up. Let's wait and see. We're playing teams in the Wemby sweepstakes. Let's wait till we actually play some teams that, mean some shit.
Yeah, look, I think I agree with all that. And I think that's also like relevant, not just to Tibbs, the entire team.
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely mean this. To not give Sims a shot tonight makes no sense to me. Like,
that's been my point for the last couple of games, honestly.
It genuinely, but especially tonight, because you were getting murdered on the glass. You're getting murdered on the glass, and it was
Shout
not
out to Jordan Bub that
like
brought that up.
to me. It wasn't like Hartenstein was out of position. He just can't hold the box out at all. He's like so weak, and Sims, whatever you want to say about him, that man is not weak. He is the opposite of weak. He's like the Incredible Hulk. You have to give him a shot. You have to give him a shot.
Especially with Mitch in foul trouble.
Yeah, Mitch is in foul trouble. There's no reason not to give him a chance there. I tweeted that out in the first half. I felt the same way. And I know Hartenstein had a nice little close to the half and helped us kind of stay in touch, but it did not feel sustainable to me. It's kind of like over the first 4 games, the starters have kind of been fine and the plus minus has looked okay. And I'm just like, are we if we're just watching this, you can see how Fournier is murdering this unit. And they kept talking about it today. And I swear to God, if I have to watch the postgame with Wally and Han, these two guys might be the dumbest fucking people to watch basketball every single day of their lives. The starters, they gotta really look at the energy the Bucks play defense with. The starters gotta do that. You want to know why the starters can't play with that energy? Because you're playing 4 and 5 on defense to begin with. Fournier cannot move. He can't move. One of the first possessions of the game, he gets switched on to Drew, and he literally was standing still while Drew was 3 steps by him. I know that's a tough cover, but
Drew. Drew's barely got handled. Drew's barely got handled.
I'm saying I understand that's a tough cover for him, but come on, man. That was you just see it. He is slower than he was last year. He's somehow less athletic, which is an amazing achievement. So credit to him for being less athletic. And it's on Tibbs. Yeah. And Tibbs is failing him because Tibbs. What does that unit need? All right, that unit needs it definitely needs somebody that has a little bit more juice with the ball when they get a catch out, when they get a swing. It needs somebody who can knock down shots, and it needs somebody who's actually good on defense and can help on the glass.
There's a guy. Fake injury.
Quentin Grimes. There's a guy in our rotation that can do that right now. Play Emmanuel quickly with that group.
Yep.
It's not rocket science. I don't care what height he is. I don't care if he's as tall as Tyrese, who's probably 4'7". It doesn't matter.
Tyrese just caught a random stray.
It doesn't matter.
Schwinn,
it doesn't matter.
Schwinn, you tweeted when the Knicks cut it to 2 and quickly got pulled. You were like, I don't know if I would have pulled quickly there. And then the first possession, Fournier just here, go to the basket, sir. And there's an and one waiting for Drew.
I'm trying very hard to respect Tyrese's love for Julius Randle, and I'm trying very hard to respect certain people's devotion to Tom Thibodeau. And if you look at my Twitter since the season started, I have not said much about Tom Thibodeau that's negative, and I have not said much about Julius Randle that's negative. And I'm going to try and do that for the next 2 months. I'm giving these guys 2 months.
2 months? Oh my god!
Trying to give them 2 months. But what I saw tonight was exactly. It was exactly what I.
All it takes is a couple more games like tonight.
It was exactly what we saw last year. Tonight was you could have put this game in November 2021, and it would have looked. The only thing that would have been different is that Jalen Brunson was on the team. That's it. Everything else would have been the same. It was so bad from just when some. Okay, fine. You start the second half with the same group. It took about 3 minutes, not even 2 minutes into that second half to be all right, this is not working. We need to change something. He waits until we're down 21 to do anything other than put in Hartenstein for Mitch, which is only related to foul trouble. That's the only sub he made until we were down 21 with 6 minutes left. And right before that, he called a timeout when we were down 15, and he didn't make a substitution then. That is such awful coaching. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter what you think of Tom Thibodeau. It doesn't matter if you think the players they need to take more responsibility for what happened tonight. That's fine. You can feel that way, but you cannot deny that is terrible coaching. That is the definition of terrible coaching. So he coached a terrible game tonight, and Randall played a terrible game tonight. And anybody disputing those facts needs to get a lobotomy or donate their brain. Doesn't matter to me, either one. Like, they were both atrocious, and it's like it makes it really hard for me, especially the Tibbs piece, to evaluate the rest of the game. Like, okay, fine, yeah, RJ had a terrible game for the most part, but then like he plays with the bench guys, and all of a sudden he's like looking good, and he's getting to the rim a bunch, and he's finishing. Like, there is something to be said about why are you not staggering this more? If you want to do the token starter thing, that's fine. Stagger the fucking lineups more. We don't need to see the starters play 9 minutes together at the start of each half. We know what that looks like. We know what they are. These are all known quantity players aside from like RJ, really, kind of. And even then, for the most part, we know what he is, right? We know what we sure as hell know what Fournier is. And by the way, I wanted to say this: Tibbs he's doing a disservice to him. He should be playing him off the bench. He would look a lot better playing off the bench.
Yeah, I mean,
you'd have a lot more offensive value playing off the bench.
We've been preaching that since like preseason at this point.
I mean, I said that last year. I think Tyree said it last year. I'm pretty sure Jeff said it last year. Pretty sure we've all said it since last year. Like, yeah, maybe try Evan Fournier off the bench. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Like, it's just not that hard. I don't know. Game like this is really frustrating to watch. And the Obi thing is like, I just don't know what. It's very hard for me to take at face value that like everybody is earning. You're getting what you earn on a night like this, because on a night like this, there's no shot that Randall should have come back in the game. At the bare minimum, Randall should not have come back in the game. Obi was making shots. He was fighting. Was he getting every defensive rebound? Was he getting pushed around? Yeah, sure. Fine. Great. Wonderful. You want to know who else was getting pushed around? Julius Randle was. You want to know who had the worst? You want to know who had the worst defensive rebounding differential on the team coming into tonight? I'll give you one guess. Wasn't Obi Toppin. It was not Obi Toppin. I'll give you that. Like,
wait, who had the worst what? Can you say that again? I'm sorry.
Defensive rebounding differential on the team.
What do you mean by that?
Who has the worst swing on off? And it's 4 games.
Oh.
It doesn't mean the worst. It doesn't mean the most. But if your argument has been, we're getting killed on the glass with Obi, doesn't fly.
Yeah, I hate that argument. It's so weak because they have nothing else to back up now because he's hitting threes and he's doing everything else well.
It's also never been true. If you look at the season totals on off rebounding totals for all 3 rebounding categories, Julius is like barely a net. Like Sam, me and you have talked about this a million times. Like, he gets the cheapest rebounds. And again, I was defending Randall tonight. I actually thought that the Knicks' best stretch of the game was that meaningless last 5 minutes. And I thought Randall was a big part of that. And I thought him protecting the defensive glass was a big part of that.
You're right. So, he did look better in that. And guess what? The funny thing about that group, who was that 5th starter?
Right. Yeah. No,
this is it's
quickly.
I really don't know what, like, the people that are like I don't know how, like, this is the funniest thing. You can track this, okay? I promise you, if somebody's in your mentions, like, crying that you say anything critical about Tibbs, if they've had an account long enough, I want you to go to their Twitter and search through this. I guarantee you this is the flow of things, okay? The Knicks signed Evan Fournier, get off to a bad start last year. Oh my God, the Knicks failed Tom Thibodeau. He wanted Reggie Bullock back. Evan Fournier is not his guy. Doesn't like him. This is terrible by the front office. They failed Tom Thibodeau. They failed him by bringing Evan Fournier in and not bringing back Reggie Bullock, and they failed him by not getting a point guard. Fast forward to this offseason, the start of the season. Oh, why are you guys freaking out that Evan Fournier is starting? Of course he's starting. Tom Thibodeau trusts him. He made so many threes last year. He's wonderful. And we got Jalen Brunson now. He's a point guard. It's great. We're all good to go. And now it'll be, Quickly doesn't do this. Quickly doesn't do that. It's like they will not ever just accept.
You can't win with them.
If you, like, I love RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett has sucked ass this year so far. If you can't just admit things like this, I don't know what to tell you.
Tyrese
if you love Tom Thibodeau, if you love Tom Thibodeau, Thibodeau, that's fine. But you have to just, like, when he does stupid things, it's okay to be like, yeah, that's a stupid thing. Like, this is, I don't know what
people act like they're cursing God if they, like, say a coach is, like, doing something bad. Like, you just can't criticize coaches in the NBA, apparently.
No, it's just criminal to me. Like, he's doing a disservice to his players. Like, what he's doing to Fournier right now, like, I don't really like hate Evan Fournier. He's making me hate Evan Fournier right now.
He
Like,
made
I'm
us
just-
hate Alec Burks last year.
Yeah, I
Kemba
don't
Walker.
want to hate Evan Fournier. He's a guy who
Kemba Walker made us hate Kemba Walker.
Kemba just sucked.
He
That
was
was-
just old.
Man,
Tibbs is cool on that one.
Kemba, okay, listen. Kemba Walker was for fucking UConn and had the greatest step back in fucking New York history.
Okay,
And
R&B
somehow,
Twitter.
some way, you went from fucking bulletproof in the streets of New York and the Bronx to fucking Autumn City in less than a year. That is white man Tom Thibodeau. You can't tell me otherwise. Continue.
No, it's not. That was him.
Tom Thibodeau will make you hate Jay-Z.
That's
make you
easy.
hate not-
Tyrese, you've low key been spinning lately. These last two post games have been your Magnus, your Magnum open.
Like you can like Tom Thibodeau could put like Nas on the fucking playlist and you'll be like, fuck Nas. I don't want to listen to this shit.
No,
Like-
I genuinely don't want. Like, it is 5 games, and I want to be like, okay, it's 5 games. He deserves a chance. It's just like
You know who he is.
I know his history, so like it is very hard for me to
And
be
when
like,
someone
well,
shows you who you are,
yeah,
you believe him.
Let's wait. Let's see what he's doing. We know what he's gonna do, and we know where it's like. Again, all we heard, right, via Berman, his mouthpiece in the media. Oh, he loves Obi now. Obi proved so much to him last year. He loves him so much that he's gonna just play in the same exact minutes this year. Like, what the hell are we talking about here? I actually looked this up today because I was arguing with Jeremy about this. You want to know how many minutes Obi Toppin played last year in games that he didn't start?
How many?
13.
14.
14.
14. That's what he's playing this year, basically.
Yes.
The only time he's played more is when we've gotten blown out. The only reason he played 17 minutes tonight is because we were getting blown out. That's it. That's the only reason he played 17 minutes. And as soon as it was like a 12 or 13 point game, and the bench wasn't like steadily cutting into it, he was like, "No, got to get Randall back in there." Like, at what point
his brain, no matter what, when the pressure's applied, it always reverts back to like that brain. But we have a great comment here from Christopher Vieira. Do y'all think Leo Rose is okay with setting the 8th overall pick on fire? I'm convinced that Obi, being a good soldier, has actually hurt him on this team. Does he need to pull a KPJ? Ooh, see, I brought this up in, I think, preseason or something, one of the preseason streams, and I was like, Obi and IQ, they're too much of good soldiers, I think, because
they should just trade Obi. Like, they really just should, because if they're not going to trade, if they're not going to trade,
won.
If they're not
gonna, told you this like 3 years ago, by the way. Anyway.
No, but your logic fucking sucks, Tyrese. Your logic is that Randall is amazing. Your logic is that Randall is awesome, and that's
wasn't even about Randall. I literally said that he's never going to get the opportunity to play.
No. If Randall sucked ass, you wouldn't have said that. You said that because Randall played well, and you decided that Randall was the mellow that was promised or something in your fucking head. Okay, that's what you decided. And you know what he is? He is not that guy. He is just a dude. Even the quote unquote good version we're getting of Randall this year, it's not some like special player. He's playing fine. Like, oh, Brunson fixed him. First of all, I saw an article on Yahoo yesterday. After four games, oh,
Brunson's nudging Randall into the right direction.
What are we talking about? It's been 4 games, and what happened tonight? Nothing. He played like shit. He was outscored by Obi until he came back in for that last stretch in the 4th quarter, which is probably why Tom Thibodeau had to put him back in to massage his fucking ego. Like, that's probably what happened. But like, this is like, if you're not going to trade Randall, okay, or you can't trade Randall, whatever the reason is, and you're not going to fire Tom Thibodeau, who we know, like, this is what he is as a coach. He's not going to play Obi any more than like 17 minutes max on a night that Julius is not in foul trouble and healthy. Then you might as well trade him, because what are you getting? Like, I just genuinely like it, and if you're not going to do that, then you literally are lighting it on fire. Like, because right now, before this trade deadline is probably the best chance you have to getting close to max value for him in a trade. So if you're not going to prioritize him, and if you're not going to prioritize him, and by that I mean either trading Julius Randle or bringing a coach in who has the balls to like do crazy things like play Obi Toppin and Randle together, or will bench Randle when he's playing like a jackass, or not just playing. He didn't play like a jackass, just playing poorly. When he's just playing poorly.
Yeah.
If you're not going to be, if you can't have a coach that does those things and will give Obi genuine opportunity to play more minutes, and we can see what he can do in more minutes, then just trade him. because I'm so sick of watching this guy. I feel awful. I feel awful watching this guy do what's asked of him to the best of his ability and get no reward for it. The reward he gets is Tyrese celebrating him potentially being traded on Twitter. That's the fucking reward he gets.
Dog,
For being
what is
good.
with the strays tonight? Jesus Christ!
It's true. It's true. I called you a fucking loser a couple days ago.
You call me a loser every fucking day.
Did you guys think it was weird that? Well, not weird because we all know he loves Rose, but given what we're talking about, so Brunson was the first member of the big three out in the third quarter. He came out with about 4.5 minutes left in the third quarter, and then he was the last one in.
He played the most.
I must have been watching a different game because I didn't think Rose was playing that well. And when the Knicks cut it to like 10, I was like, okay, let's get Brunson back in and let's try to win this thing. Like, I thought it was weird that he waited so long to put Brunson back in, even though I feel like Brunson's earned you've had a rough night so far, but we trust you to turn it on. Let's go fucking win this thing. You're our best player. Like, I didn't get why, amidst all the putting RJ and Randall, getting them back in as quickly as possible, he waited to put Brunson back in, who, in my opinion, would have been – instead, he was like, all right, Emmanuel, quickly play 17 straight minutes, kill yourself, and you run the offense. Like, that's like basically what like he was asking of him. It was crazy.
He does this every single time. He runs the legs off these dudes for like almost 20-minute straight sets. It's like insane.
The thing is, there's just no other way you can do a rotation.
But then he didn't go to Brunson.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense at all.
Very weird.
Derrick Rose needs his 12 minutes, man. Like, Derrick Rose needs his 12.
And
he didn't even play that bad tonight, but like,
it didn't warrant Jalen Brunson not being able to come back in.
Rose played. I thought he played better tonight than he did against Charlotte. Because against Charlotte, he just decided like, I'm just not going to play defense, and that's it. Like tonight, he played defense. It wasn't great, but he played defense. He didn't take too many shots. His last 2 shots were bad, but I just think like, I think he's basically like right now he does not have the legs to go more than like 12 to 14 minutes. He just doesn't. You could kind of see it. But I mean, I was fine with Rose's minutes. I do agree the Brunson thing was a little bit weird. He did play the second most minutes of the starters. RJ played the most because RJ played the entire third quarter and then he played the first 3 minutes of the second quarter. I don't know. It was just again like I hate to do this, but it's like it's to me unless Fournier was like a star, right? If he was playing at a star level, then I would understand playing him and playing him a lot. He's not. He doesn't matter to your present or your future, really. Like he just doesn't materially impact anything. He shouldn't even be out-repping a guy like Cam to me at this point. Based on what I've seen of Fournier this year, maybe he just needs like time to get his legs back under him. He did play over the summer, so maybe he needs like a little bit of time here. So maybe that's an overreaction, but like I just again we are 3 years into the Tom Thibodeau regime. We are 3 years into having Emmanuel Quickley and Obi Toppin along with RJ Barrett. And we are 3 years into not ever really making it a point to play those three together for God knows what reason. Even though, by all accounts, I think most metrics point out that they've been good together. And again, we saw today, as soon as Quickley came in and Obi came in, magically RJ...
Nah, Ashwin, according to Thibs, the data's all skewed because of blowouts.
Look, maybe that's what, maybe you have to look at the data 3 times before you can really analyze it. But like, it's just, I don't know. It's just really frustrating to me. And the OB thing is really starting to piss me off just because like, he's a good player. Like they drafted a good player at 8. Like the thing this team always gets killed for is like, oh, you could have drafted this and that guy, this and that. And it's like, yeah, maybe we could have drafted a better player than OB at 8, but like, you're not even giving him a chance to like find out.
Show what
like,
he can really become.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm looking it up right now, and I'm sure after tonight, like his per 36 stuff over like whatever the last 30 games of his career are probably insane. You know, like I just don't understand. Like what more can he do? I don't know. He's playing right now. Coming into tonight, he's averaging 15 minutes per game. He was averaging in those 15 minutes 9 points, 3.5 rebounds, 1.8 assists, 0.3 steals, 0.3 blocks. Like, do the per 36 math on that. That's like 20, 10, 4 or something. 2010-5 maybe even.
Ooh.
4.5, some shit like that.
Is that the magic number Knicks fans love to
But, like,
spew out every single fucking week?
You want to know who puts up 20 and 10 and apparently is like the greatest player of all time? Julius Randle, according to Clyde. MVP numbers. Some guys he gets criticized for, but
Nah, Clyde be senile sometimes when it comes to this shit.
Clyde just hates young.
Yo, folks, it's Giannis, Jokic,
and by the way, just
Julius
again,
Randle.
super tiny small sample size so far. 66.5 true shooting for Obi this year. Probably stays the same or goes up after tonight. I don't know. The Obi thing just really pisses me off. I feel really bad for him, and I feel really annoyed for us as fans, and I feel really bad for Leon Rose's wife and Sam Rose's mother that she has to sit there during holiday dinners and probably listen to them argue about Obi Toppin's role in the Knicks and what that means for his next contract.
Shout out to Christopher Vieira, and I'm gonna bring up Chris Bernard's comments. Christopher Vieira says, "I swear, not firing Thibs will be Leon's downfall. Nothing Thibs is doing is helping us in the short term or long term. We didn't learn that execs don't value our kids because they don't play a lot."
You think it's bad now? When we trade for Bossman 99 with Obi Toppin, you'll know hell.
Like, you are just like speaking all the wrong things.
Wait, when we trade for who?
Jay Crowder.
Oh, God.
And then Chris Bernhardt says RJ plays his best ball with OB and IQ. I mean, the sample size is so small, but we know if it goes up, then it would be relatively better. Before we get into some more comments, time for ad read, of course, because we have to get that done. Let me pull that up. If my computer can actually, process everything all at once right now. Here we go. And wrong one. Here we go. NBA fans, the wait is over. Basketball is back. Oh my gosh. So tip off the season with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can make any $5 NBA moneyline bet and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. Check this out. In addition to the usual bets, everyone can boost their winnings up to 100% with DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, and place a stepped up same game parlay today. With bigger payouts than ever, DraftKings Sportsbook is where I go to bet on the NBA. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use promo code TBPN, make any $5 bet this week, and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code TBPN, as you see in the corner of your screen. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes or show description for details. All right, let's pull up some more comments. Virgil X says it's all up to Thibs. The front office isn't going to free up time with losing trades. I think we've seen with this front office. I mean, how many trades have they really done over the last couple years? It's been what, the Derrick Rose trade and the Cam Reddish trade, and that's about it. Like, they're not gonna do anything
the Austin Rivers trade.
Yeah, the Austin Rivers trade. I almost forgot about Austin Rivers being a Knick. But yeah, this team doesn't do trades like that unless they really think that, it's going to be worth it long term. And I guess they don't really value freeing up time for our young guys in that regard. Thank you, Virgil. I did do the ad read. Shout out to you bringing up that. How do you guys feel about, I guess, like the front office going forward in terms of what they can or won't do in terms of?
I mean, we'll find out at the draft. Like, this is all going to come to a head at the draft because they're going to have 2 picks in a very loaded draft, and we're going to see what happens at that point. Because if you have 2 picks in the draft like that, I assume one of them will be lotto, like late lottery. I kind of feel like at that point, you're going to have to make a decision on consolidation somehow, and somebody's got to go if you want somebody to play, because you're not going to punt on the draft 2 years in a row.
Do we have to? Like, I feel like we portray this as like we have to do this thing, we have to consolidate. And it's like, yeah, we have to consolidate, but like, I mean, I just look at a team like Memphis. Like, Santel Alomar, they draft this guy 30th overall. They have him just hang out in the G League last year. I don't even think he played a minute with the Big Grizz last year. Maybe some garbage time, but not any real minutes. Now he's playing real rotation minutes for them because they have injury. Like, why are we incapable? Like, it's like the entire point of having all these picks and young guys and like development staff is like to trust them with stuff. And it just feels like we're so reticent to do that. And we keep trying to thread this needle. Like, and that's really what it feels like to me with this entire Obi Randall thing, where it's like, I think they do really like Obi, but they're like, well, we can't like lose a Randall trade or like got him. Like, it's like, who cares? Like, does anybody care other than Tyrese and Chris? Shout out Chris wherever he is. Like, is there anybody else who cares about winning or like optics of a Randall trade or who cares? Like,
Leon
I don't know.
Rose.
I don't like. To me, like, I've thought it's been greatly exaggerated. Like, literally, he had like a couple good games to start the year, and it was like, oh, all the people that wanted to trade him are fucking idiots now. Like, no, like he had good games at the start of last year too. He had good games sporadically throughout last year, actually. And guess what? I still wanted to trade him. Like, I have not seen anything yet to change my mind about that. I'm keeping my mind open about it. Hopefully, this wonderful player emerges that Tyrese worships. I'm hoping to see him at some point this year consistently. All right, I'll stop making fun of Tyrese. No, I won't.
No one will.
But like, no, like if you're going to do this entire thing with Randall, then just please again, like, this is where I agree that like I have a lot of patience for the front office. I think like they've done a lot of stuff right. I think we're kind of, I know Cam didn't have a good game tonight, but like I think I've seen enough to like, yeah, I get it. You have to like deal with the Cam famness of it all to try to just get to Cam Reddish, and hopefully that's like that can happen. But I get all these moves they made. I like them. You know, I like getting Brunson. It's fine. But this is probably the most. Is it fair to say that was the most valuable asset they've had at their disposal over this time? The 8th pick.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the highest pick that we've had
So-
in the last.
So like,
whatever.
okay, you take a guy. You had some plans for Randall. Shit changed because he had an All NBA season. I get that. Fine. He had the season he had last year, and Obi had the season he had last year where he showed real significant progress. You kept the same coach, you kept the same rotation for him, basically. Like, you haven't done anything to really help him out or push him forward. So, if you're a front office that, you know, look, all we've heard about Brock Aller, he's so obsessed with getting value, so obsessed with winning trades, so obsessed with extracting as much value as he can for everything. How are we going to say that when this is what he's doing with the highest pick in the, like, they've had other than RJ, right? Like, I don't know. Like, it's the highest pick this regime has had. And it's probably the highest pick they're going to have.
Ever.
Yeah, for a while anyway. Unless we get lucky in the lottery, which, that's not going to happen. Like, I don't know. I really struggle with that part of it. So, like, what are my thoughts in the front office? Or, like, I'm at the point where I'm fine right now. But, like, if we're just playing this out for the whole year, I think, I don't know. I'd be very, I don't want to say I would be out, but, like, it'd be pretty annoying. And again, like to Tyrese's point, we're going to have at least 2 picks in the first round this year for sure. Maybe 3 if Washington finds a way to get in the playoffs. Like, I don't know. I just...
They lost to Indiana, so that's not happening.
I mean, teams lose to teams all the time. It happens. But, like, it's just... I don't know. I don't like the idea that, like, we have to consolidate draft picks or something. Because I feel like there's evidence of really good teams that don't do that and get value for them and pick guys and actually use them in their rotation eventually. So I don't know. Especially like, look, we don't even have a superstar on this team. We don't have a star at this point. Maybe Brunson becomes one. Maybe RJ or Randall morph into one. Maybe Mitch becomes defensive player of the year or something. I don't know. But we don't have one as things stand. So like, why would I just consolidate draft picks? Unless if we're trading up, that's fine. That's different. But if we're just like, oh, we got to trade out again to get, I don't know. I don't want to do the trade out to get more future capital thing again. Like, I really don't. If we're going to trade using those picks, I would like to either trade up or finally, like, put your nuts on the line and trade for a star or something. Trade for, like, I don't care. Just do something that is, I don't know. Either way, the OB piece and all that stuff is just. I think they're all tied together, and it's like if you're about extracting value, then there are certain things you have to do. And this Obi thing is kind of like not the first thing on their agenda over their time, but it's like probably the biggest point that's coming to a head as things stand.
And
I
one of
think
the
it's
things-
really
oh,
just comes.
sorry.
Sorry, you got.
No, you go first, Harry. You go first, Harry. Sorry.
All right. I just kind of feel like the whole thing is like, damn, I lost my fucking train of thought. It comes down to the fact that, like, okay, you can't, like, they have to do something because the team needs to pick a fucking direction. That's my thing. Like, the team needs to pick a fucking direction, no matter what it is. Like, if you want to invest in Randall, okay, invest in Randall. Like, no matter how we may feel about it, I want them to at least pick a fucking direction because it kind of feels like they're trying to do this whole, like, be competitive while we also rebuild. And we're like, we could be a playoff team, but we also want to develop the young guys. And I kind of feel like Golden State winning the championship made everybody think they could fucking do this. And it's like, no, you can't. Like,
I also don't think Golden State's like really done that. I feel like it's really exaggerated how much they've done that.
yeah, like I think the idea is like they had Jordan Poole who like hit, and like it's still a lot of the guys who were there for the last championship run, but like the whole thing is it just kind of feels like to me they don't want to pick a direction yet because once they pick a direction, now it's like it's kind of starts the internal clock, and I don't like that.
You think it starts an internal clock if the direction you pick is like we're gonna just put Fournier on the bench and trade Randall for a bag of balls, like that's I don't know. Like I feel like if that's the direction they pick, I mean, first you'd have to make sure that's fine with Dolan, right? You had to be like, hey, look, this is the direction we're going in. Like these young guys, blah blah blah. How much of an internal clock is that really kicking off? Like I feel like that's like I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but if you're gonna go in that direction, you get the approval from ownership to go in that direction. Then you have to assume that like, unless they're like, no, we're gonna go this direction and we promise we're gonna make the playoffs, which would be fucking wild if they did that.
I mean, like to be fair, we saw like where niggas get traded and then they got fired next year. So like,
but they got fired because we know why. Like
I know, we know why, but also at the same time, it's like at that point you kind of fumbled the Donovan Mitchell trade, and like I get it, the price was exorbitant, but at the same time, like you were the front runners for that for a long, like a couple of months there, and now it's kind of just like you're doing this, but you're doing that, and it's just and like this offseason, which is kind of a headache. I'm just like, what the hell are they doing? Aside from getting Brunson, I was like, okay, cool. Are you gonna like consolidate? Oh, you're not consolidating. Wait. So if you're not moving the guys you need to move, wait. So are you running 11-man rotation? No, you're not. Kyler's only playing because Grimes is hurt. What happens when Grimes gets back?
I don't think Grimes is hurt.
Like,
I still don't think Grimes is hurt. I think it's bullshit. I think it's exactly what you're talking about.
You're Kadarius Toneying it?
No, he's not. He's not. No, he's not like. He's not special like Kadarius Toney was. But like, I think they're just. I think that you're exactly right. Like they know that when Grimes is back, somebody's gonna be left out. Like you know what I mean? They know somebody's gonna be out, and they don't want to have to deal with that yet. I truly believe that. But like, even if I'm wrong, it doesn't really matter. That's the reality, right? You're right. Like once Grimes is back, it's gonna, like it's fine. It's easy to be like, oh, we're all on the same page. Everybody's trying to win. It's fine when everybody that's supposed to get minutes is getting minutes. It's a little bit different when Grimes gets back and it's like, so, Cam, bud, how you doing? Like that's not a fun conversation to have. It's weird. It sucks. It sucks if you have to do that Fournier. But like, the thing is, again, the Knicks aren't. Yes, they have to pick a direction, but it's so obvious what direction they need to pick. Like it's so obvious what direction they need to pick because, like the type of star that they would have to trade for it to be worth it to be like trade a bunch of stuff for a star is like the guy we played against tonight. Yeah, if you can trade a bunch of shit to get Giannis, do that. But like that's not going to happen because like
the way the Lakers and Nets are looking, man, LeBron might be up there.
But we can't even trade for LeBron in season, bro. Be traded in season.
We could get him next year, bro. Finally at year 21 in the Garden.
Yeah,
you don't have it.
I don't know if I could hate anything more than like the mission, like turning the Knicks into like the part of the like LeBron GOAT agenda or whatever the fuck you want to be. Fuck that shit.
What if we get KD?
Are you kidding me? Have you watched him this year? He looks like he's about to like tear his ACL every time he dribbles, bro. He's like
they look garbage. I'm not blaming
like
you.
he scored 37 last night. Efficient, like an
And he looked like he
efficient
was-
37, and he
was
looked
in pain.
yeah, he looked like he was about to collapse every time he touched the ball. It was insane.
It's that fucking meme of the girl that walks out of Popeyes, like with her hands on her knees. He's just like, struggling.
Yeah, I mean, I'd struggle too if I have to deal with if my point guard is an anti-Semite. But like I don't know. I agree with you. Like the direction thing is real. Like they have to do that. We've been saying that forever. It's like, and I think the most frustrating part for me is, I think this team is like Tibbs proof. Like we saw today. He fucked up so much shit tonight, and they lost to the Bucks by 11 or something, right? Like
Yeah, I love it.
he has to do so much destructive shit even against a good team for us. It's not even, I don't want to say destructive because people are gonna be like, oh, you hate like suboptimal shit. Okay, anybody here loves Tibbs. Suboptimal decision
You won't
making.
find much Tibbs lovers in this.
Anybody that's like he has to make so many suboptimal decisions for us to get blitzed out of the game. And even then, when he has to go to the bench, they're good enough to bring us back. And it's like, we're gonna beat like all these like like we saw the Orlando game, Detroit, even Charlotte. Charlotte, it's cool that Dennis Smith Jr. looked like an NBA player against us and they hit a bunch of threes, but like that shit is not lasting for more than 2 weeks. Like we're gonna pound the shit out of those teams. We'll probably split a bunch of the games against the middle of the league, and then we're gonna play against teams like this that have one of those guys or two of those guys, and we're gonna get smacked because we probably get beat anyway. But if you're already if you're working at a talent disadvantage and your coach doesn't know how to optimize what you have, you're just not. So we're gonna end up being like a 500 team, and that's gonna be too good to fire him, and they're not gonna fire him, and we are going to be stuck in this endless loop forever of like, is Julius Randle good? Is Tom Thibodeau actually a good coach? And like, we're just gonna do this for the next 78 years of our lives, and I will die.
My God,
and I will die, and all of us will probably be dead except for Tibbs, who will somehow like be alive coaching basketball still at that point.
You will die. Your hair, the fucking hairs in your beard.
Yeah, I need to.
You need to die.
Yeah, I do. It's true.
Christ. You have like
The thing you were talking about earlier, Schwinn, when you talked about consolidating and do we really need 100? Do we really need full value for Randall in a return trade? One of the things me and you talked about on a pod a long time ago, not too long ago now, is that one of the things it seems like a lot of people discount in a potential Randall trade is that a more actualized version of Obi is a part of the return package. So you can't just say, I view Randall as worth X. I need the returning players to equal or surpass X. Because even if you accept 80 cents on the dollar, Obi now getting to play 30 minutes a game and having offense built towards him and being featured could fill or surpass those last 20 cents. And I feel like that's never discussed in these conversations. It's just, well, they're not going to trade Randall unless they can get fair value. And it's like there's value in just not having him on the
elevating
team.
the guys that you have.
Right, and just letting Obi play more.
And if you don't want to, then like if you're not,
then fire the coach.
Then either fire the coach or trade Obi. Like those are the two options you have if you're not willing to like take a loss on trading Randall. Like, and if you and so it's like, yeah, that's the frustrating thing is like they want to not do that, but then they want to keep Tibbs, or not they, at least Leon wants to keep Tibbs, and then they also want to keep Obi because they love Obi. And it's like you can't love everybody, man. Like you can't. I'm sorry. Like you got to pick. You got to pick.
All right. This is a great question to lead us into our next topic or our next So Jordan Bub brings up, speaking of Donovan Mitchell, do you think we beat the Cavs on Sunday afternoon? What are your thoughts going into this game? Remember Donovan had a 40-point game tonight. I just mentioned him and Karis LeVert just went off for 41 apiece against the Boston Celtics. Also, like, what the hell's going on with this league where like teammates are just like dropping like nearly 40 a night on teams? Like, what the hell is going on in this league?
I think it's really
We-
funny that Boston can't play defense anymore.
Like, we had like Desmond Bain and what you call it, John Morant just dropped nearly 40 on the Nets. You have the Nets, Katie and Kyrie dropping 40 every night nearly and still
losing.
getting
And
spanked.
losing.
Uh,
1-4, and they're fucking dropping 30 apiece, which is hilarious, by the way.
But yeah, Donovan had 40 tonight. I wonder if Darius Garland is gonna play on Sunday. That's gonna have a
He
huge.
will fucking find his eye.
He will most likely suit up
He
with
will,
a
he will
freaking.
magically somehow get the fucking kiss of life on his eye, and he will go from like doubtful to in the game just to play. That's how it fucking works all the time. As soon as Willis Reed walked in that fucking tunnel, the Knicks just got the worst injury luck, and now like I swear to God, Chris Middleton probably could have played tonight if you told him to. If you told Chris Middleton, yo, bro, we need you, I swear to God, he would have came out of the fucking tunnel. Like if the team was down.
Tyrese, this is an insane tweet.
What's an insane tweet? What he's saying right now?
No, what he tweeted just.
What did he tweet? Oh my gosh. Let me check this out. But yeah, I mean, going into the Cavs against the Cavs on Sunday, I mean, it's you gotta have the same thoughts of like going into
That's the one.
we have the same thoughts going into
Oh man.
We've lost
But-
Sam. Sam's been broken.
nah, nah, but going to this game against the Cavs, you have to have the same mindset, I guess, in terms of like how we came into games like tonight. It's against a playoff team that has, a dominant player that's going to get his numbers. It's a matter of like, how do you mitigate that as well as trying to mitigate the success of the others around them? Like, you don't want Karis LeVert going off against us because, not only will that set Knicks Twitter ablaze, but it will just be annoying in general to have Karis LeVert beat us. And then down low, will Mitch be able to, hold his own and be disciplined against both Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley? And what does Julius Randle look like?
Can we just do this real quick? Okay. Who is gonna guard Donovan Mitchell?
Right, that's where I was gonna go.
Yeah. So with that, is that RJ or is that
They'll put
Brunson?
RJ on him.
Okay, so let's just say that's RJ.
40.
Who's all right? Who's guarding? Who's gonna guard LeVert?
50
Is
piece.
That's Brunson, right?
I guess they might go Brunson on Mitchell and RJ on LeVert because Tibbs loves matching up size.
So then we're gonna put Brunson on Dean Wade.
See,
we're
this is
gonna,
what
you mean we're gonna put Fournier on?
Yeah, is that so? We're gonna put four. Like I'm already like I hate this matchup, and the only way we'll win this matchup is if our bench just goes off because our bench sucks.
Respect
care.
Shelly Osborne
I will not do that.
and Kevin Love.
Definitely not going to do that.
phrases that
yeah.
should never be
Next thing he's going to do is tell me to respect Isaac Okoro. No,
and his
I actually-
1.5 points per game.
I'll say this: if
I'm shooting high.
if Garland is not playing, I think we should win this game. I know they beat the Celtics tonight. The Celtics, funny enough, also similarly have a pretty shitty bench, and they had a very weird game where their starters just got annihilated for some reason. Look, do I think Karis LeVert normally goes 6 of 8 from 3?
Hell no.
No.
Hell no.
Look, they shot 16.
Yes.
No, they shot.
If he
16
does it again, then God bless.
It's just like this is a game to me that you at least at the bare minimum, especially without Garland, you have all the tools at your disposal to win a game like this. Will Tibbs push the right buttons? Will he? That's the thing. It's like nothing about who he is as a coach. Like a lot of coaches would have seen what happened tonight and taken something from it, and I feel like Tibbs would have watched tonight and just been like, his takeaway would be like, starters got to execute better, got to try harder, got to rotate better, and it's like those things might be true, but also like maybe change the rotations. I don't know. It's just that's the part that's really, whatever. I hate.
It's like when a football coach punts on 4th and 1 for like the 10 millionth time, and he gets asked about it in the post game, and he's like, if our defense just got to stop, the punt would have been fine. Like they never actually think like, oh, maybe I should have just gone for it. It's always just what the team could have, the product I put out there. That there's no qualms with that. It's always their fault. It's never the fault of the actual decisions.
Yeah, it's. I just would love if Tibbs would grow up, but he's not going to. I don't think.
Grow up.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the type of game where the team changes the starting lineup. A normal team would change the starting lineup to match up perfectly with the other team's starting lineup, but our coach doesn't believe in that, which is so annoying because looking around the league, you see starting lineups change like all the time. But like with the Knicks, as soon as the starting lineup's announced, you already know what it is. No matter what the matchup is, even if it's at a disadvantage for us. Because you would think with this lineup, I mean, you'd probably start like maybe a Cam Reddish, right, or something like that, or quickly.
I just start quickly.
Yeah.
Like I don't like Cam. I actually don't like Cam with this group at all because he doesn't. Like, he's not a guy that you just want off the ball, space in the floor. He needs usage to, like... First of all, if you're trying to develop him, he needs usage. He needs to get reps on the ball. He needs to at least touch the ball. He's not going to do that with this group. You need somebody who's a good rotation offender who can play make pretty consistently, I think. Those are things I'm not willing to put on Cam at this point. Maybe he can develop into that, but I wouldn't want to put it on him like that right now. Just quickly, I just think he makes so much sense with this group, and we have rarely seen it, but when they have played together, they've looked good. So I don't know. I think maybe just go with that and see what happens.
And to your point, Sam,
Mm-hmm.
It's not only that we know the starting lineup every night. We know roughly what the rotation is going to be every night.
Yes.
It doesn't. It's what Schwinn was just saying. He is always saying, let's make them adapt to us. We don't have to change. We don't have to change how we don't have to build different schemes for different opponents. It's just if we do what we do well enough, it'll be that's how we maximize. And that's how you get to the middle. You die in the middle. There's no ceiling there. And Tibbs doesn't understand a range of outcomes. He doesn't understand volatility. He can only see his goal, and it's a very narrow vision with a low ceiling. If you want someone to get you to 44 wins, Tom Thibodeau's your fucking guy. That guy will get you to 44 wins. And, I'm not saying that he can't. I know the 2011 Bulls won 60 whatever games, but they had, an MVP. Sure.
Shout out Derrick Rose.
MVP. Okay. But with a team like this, there's not going to be any volatility embraced whatsoever. He is dying to go 500 this season. And I don't get why that's the front office's goal. I don't get why they don't, even if that is the ceiling for this team, that's not what is best for this franchise. If that's the ceiling for this team, if somebody at the end of this season, we go 44 and whatever the fucking math is, 44 and 38, if somebody's nobody else could have gotten more wins out of this team than that, that's not a good argument for Tibbs, because somebody in the front office needs to say, our goal isn't to win 44 games. Our goal is to one day win a championship.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to do different things, try different things to try and heighten that ceiling. That's just not how Tom Thibodeau sees the game of basketball. He doesn't think that way. That's okay. He's 65 years old. I'm not asking him to change. On some level, it's on the front office to have humility and have self-awareness of who this guy is. That is on the front office. And like Schwinn just said 10 minutes ago, if you're not going to trade Randall, there's two decisions left. You trade Obi or you fire Tibbs and get someone who will play them together. Because really, that's what it's come down to. The Fournier decision's coming. We're frustrated about tonight. Fournier's not fucking starting this whole season. If he starts this whole season, Tibbs is gone. We don't have to worry. He's gone if Fournier starts.
But it can't. We can't do this for a full season. That's my thing. It's it cannot be a full season of this. If we have a full season of this, it is such a waste. Like it's such a waste. Fournier just needs if you can't have a conversation with Evan Fournier to just be like, hey, look, we really appreciate what you've done for us. You know, we still value you as a piece of this team, but right now we just need to take a look at we want to see what quickly brings to the starting lineup. If you can't have that conversation, if your coach can't have that conversation, then your coach should be fired. Like, I'm sorry, it's not this isn't some ex MVP, multiple All-Star legend of the game. It's Evan fucking Fournier, dude. If you can't have that conversation with them, which is not you're never playing again, but it's more just, hey, we want to see what quickly does in the starting lineup, and we'll still play you off the bench. We like you in that group. We like what you can bring there. If you can't have that conversation, then your coach sucks. I'm sorry. That's just a reality, and you should fire him just for that. And let's even go further. Let's say Grimes goes back. Let's say Grimes is killing it. If you get in the conversation with Fournier of hey, look, we're trying to find a move for you. If we can get one, we'll definitely do it. Right now, we just, we have to prioritize different things, and we appreciate everything you've done. If you just can't have these conversations and handle it, you are a fucking agent, man. And Tibbs is oh, he's this veteran of the industry. If these guys cannot have these conversations and handle shit and prioritize what needs to be prioritized, then you should clean house if you're James Dolan. I think it's pretty simple. The team's in a pretty good situation. You just have to pick a direction. If you pick a direction, a lot of this becomes a lot easier. And it becomes a lot clearer. And that's that. So, I don't know. It's just the frustrating hangover from the summer of okay, you didn't trade Donovan Mitchell. And then to me, it was okay, you didn't trade Donovan Mitchell. Great. Now trade. Why is Fournier still here? Why? And you can keep telling me it's hard to find a trade. You can't find a trade. You got to have something. Good front offices make shit happen, or they just handle it. How much? The Rockets were not a great front office, in my opinion. They were just okay, John Wall, go stay home. Go. We don't care. Go stay home.
We'll pay you.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Why can't we have this conversation with him once Grimes gets back? Hey, we don't care, dude. Go stay home.
And by the way, this stuff works itself out a lot. Let's just say hypothetically, Tibbs had the conversation Schwinn's talking about. He's we're going to see what quickly brings in the starting lineup. Grimes is back. We can't bench Cam. This team isn't let's say they had the self-awareness we're talking about. Cam has 3 years now of, let's be honest, everyone can see the numbers. I'm probably the highest on Cam in this group, but the numbers are what they are. It's so possible that Cam just throws up a dud, and in 20 games, Tibbs is all right, enough. We've seen what we've seen. Fournier, you're back in the rotation. Or it's possible somebody gets hurt. These things work themselves out. This idea that
he's out of the rotation, so it's forever now.
Right, he's banished. We can make this decision right now, and then it just works itself out. The best case scenario is it works. That's really good for the team. We have Cam's 22, Quickly's 22, Grimes 20, or Quickly's 23, Grimes 22. That would be a really great outcome. Oh no, Evan Fournier's feelings are hurt. Sorry, dude, you're making $70 million. Sorry, your feelings are hurt. Get the fuck out of here with this shit. I'm sick of it, man.
I think we could close out with this comment. Great question. Who's better, Tibbs as a coach or Simmons as a player?
Tibbs as a coach.
I figured we're not that low on Tibbs here. We're not that low. Simmons is my God.
My God.
Jesus.
I've heard a lot of people be oh, he needs time. I don't know, man. He's
had plenty of time. He's been sitting on the couch playing Call of Duty. He's good.
I'm fine on Ben Simmons. I think I've seen enough. Dude, Luka was he was legit calling for switches and just burning him. It was not great to watch. For Nets fans, anyway.
Sam, our nightly segment, or what's becoming a nightly segment, I have Simons over 23.5, and he scored 23 in the first half and hasn't scored in the second half with 5 minutes left in the game. This is the most annoying sweat I've ever had in my life. Just fucking score, man.
Oh my gosh. I know that feeling. All too well.
It feels so inevitable.
It is. But yeah, shout out to everyone that tuned in. We've been going for an hour and 14. Leave a like, subscribe. We're on our way to 1K subscribers. So anything that you do will help a lot. We will be back after the Cavs game on Sunday. Hopefully the Knicks take a win, and hopefully we didn't get embarrassed at the very least. So we'll be back after that game. Make sure you check out the links for everything Strickland related in the description. We have links to the merch, Patreon, the site, and the Twitter. Check all that good stuff out. And we are out of here. Peace.